Good morning, traders. Welcome back to another pre-market watch list today. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Hopefully today brings
Morning, traders.
Ooh, that was a little loud. Sorry about that. Anywho, hopefully today brings everybody all the riches in the world. So yeah, Netflix was pretty crazy yesterday. Massive run up. There are a few places to be pre-market this morning. Good morning, everybody. Yuri, good morning. Mike, John, everybody in here. So yesterday, Netflix was crazy. So it did do what we thought. We thought it would go up, but it never quite came down as we also expected. Each level that I kind of had mapped off to enter short failed, and it just kept blowing through it. So yesterday, if you look back at Netflix yesterday, yesterday is a perfect example of the term we call a bull run. All right, so if you go back and you kind of analyze Netflix from yesterday, that is exactly what is called a bull run. All right, that's when the bullish traders were completely in charge of Netflix yesterday. Okay, short sellers got crushed for the most part. I myself shorted Netflix multiple times at different key levels, and it just kept blowing through it, and I kept getting stopped out, or it was a small win, small loss. So eventually what happens is once a stock's going on a bull run and it keeps hitting these key levels too short, and those short areas keep failing, eventually all the shorts give up and then the bulls just let it rip, right? So the idea is when something's on a bull run, you have to recognize it as soon as possible, so that way you essentially stop shorting it. And eventually I did. I think I shorted it 3 or 4 times yesterday at different key levels, and each one of them would drop, get bought back up. So it was like a loss, or I recognized it was going to go back up, so I'd exit for a small win. So it took me about four short positions yesterday on Netflix to realize that it just wasn't coming down, and it was time to flip bias and start longing it. So yesterday, I think I made like $600 or $700 on Netflix alone. Once I started flipping bias and going long and kind of scalping some plays. So yeah, I know it was funny. My first trade on Netflix was actually long at like 350, and I took 100 shares and I wrote it up for like 3 points, made $300. I was like, all right, I'm good with that. And then it just ripped all day. I'm like, wow, that sucks. So is what it is, guys. It is what it is. So for those of you guys that did run with the bulls yesterday, good job. Congrats to you. So let's get into it. I'm going to share the screen. There are just so many stocks that I would like to talk about today, but I won't be able to cover them all in depth. So I'll probably just I'll go over some of the specific ones today, and then I'll just mention a few of the other stocks that I would consider keeping on watch, but not necessarily your main play, just in case. All right. So I will give an update on JNUG. JNUG yesterday blew right through $13, and I think it hit lows of like $12.70. So we'll talk about that as well. So I'm gonna start sharing the screen, and then we'll get into it as usual. All right, guys, there we are, sharing the screen. All righty. So I want to first talk about Netflix, okay? So first we'll mention here Netflix. So yesterday, well, let's just start back from, and let me delete my drawings first. Let me get all this stuff off of here. All right, so we know obviously Netflix decided to crash and burn after hours on its earnings, right? And then yesterday it went on a massive bull run. So if something runs that hard, it's kind of hard to try and short it the next day, because, theoretically, if something runs this big, on any given day, the next day, short sellers are going to be a little bit more hesitant to actually shorting it because of the big, massive run it had yesterday. So this might scare some short sellers, right? But I personally am going to watch Netflix short. And the reason I'm going to watch it short is because of that big move yesterday. The massive gap down followed by a massive run up, it doesn't have a whole much. I mean, it could run up about another $20 a share until it hits kind of, this previous, area from, the day of its earnings, right? So you kind of have these levels right here. Let me get this off here. And so right here, right? So the day of its earnings, intraday, it had lows of 391, and then it also had some kind of good support around 395. Okay, so it's possible that Netflix does continue pushing higher today, but I don't see it really getting all the way back to 400. If it does go long, we could easily see it up to 390s and maybe 395. But for Netflix to do that would be pretty insane. That means they would have filled the gap down in 2 days, which usually does not happen. A lot of times what you'll see happen with gap downs like this is, you would see it gap down, you'd see it come up the next day, and then it'd hit a key level, and then it would come back down. Instead of doing that, Netflix just went up all day. So I'm thinking we're actually going to see it roll over a little bit today and actually drop, and then there'll be a dip buy again. So the way that I'm primarily looking at playing Netflix is either shorting it right out of the gates, or if it does flip long, I'll take it long in hopes it reaches 390, and then I would maybe look to short up there. But I'm definitely keeping an open-minded view on Netflix. Considering the big push yesterday, I think we might see it just kind of short out of the gates, and then it will get dip bought and start pushing back up. But to see Netflix all the way back at 400 or 395 today would be a big stretch because of the big move it made yesterday. So we'll see. There's no guarantees, but I think Netflix is a good one to watch today because of the volume it's seen yesterday and the volatility. I think that's going to carry over into today's trading, and we're going to see some more volatility on Netflix. It's not going to have quite as big of a move as yesterday. Yesterday was a massive push. So we're not going to get that big of a push to the upside, and we're not going to get that big of a push to the downside, right? If Netflix went up this big, you can't expect it to drop all the way down to 340. It's not going to happen. And then for Netflix to gap down $60 a share and then go up from 345 to 385 yesterday, it's not very likely we're going to see it push to 400, right? So it's not likely to see it drop all the way to 340. And it's not very likely we're going to see it push all the way to 395 or even 400. What's most likely going to happen is Netflix is probably going to trade within the range of 385 to 360. So we're probably going to see it trade around this green box. Somewhere in this area, that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to see a rally. Netflix is going to have shorts, it's going to have dip buys, and I think what's going to happen is we're going to see a rally in between the price point of 360 and 385. Somewhere in this whole area, this green box is where we're most likely going to see kind of Netflix trade. I don't anticipate Netflix is going to be anywhere in the red box or in this red box, right? It just doesn't seem likely to see Netflix in either of the red box areas, but more likely to see it trade in the green area. Okay, so let me just kind of redo this here. So Netflix, I believe we're probably going to see trade somewhere in this area today. And we're not going to see it trade in these red areas. And if it is in the red, it'll be a brief time frame that it's kind of in those red areas. So more likely to see it anywhere from 385, 370, 365, and that's probably where we're going to trade. Okay. All right. So that's kind of the idea there on Netflix. What I would do too is just make sure to map off kind of the key levels from yesterday. So there's a key level at 375 where it bounced, and then you have the previous high breakouts yesterday at 365, and then another one at 370. So map those levels off. All right. So that's Netflix. Next one I'll talk about is IQ. So IQ had a massive short squeeze yesterday that I ended up trading. I think I made a little over $1,000 on IQ yesterday, so that was a good. So I would watch IQ today. If you look at the yearly chart, you can clearly see it bounced. And remember, I was talking about IQ for weeks, telling everybody to watch for the bounce, and sure enough, it did happen. But if you look here on the daily chart, you'll see that it's starting to run up right into a resistance area from this big red candle. That red candle, we're now getting up towards that area. So I think what we're going to see today is we're probably going to see IQ try and push up a little bit higher. Hold on. Let me see it like this. See, we're right at this key level. $38 is a very, very key level for IQ. So I think we might see IQ push up to try and break through $38. And if it fails the $38 breakout, we're going to see it roll over and start dropping again. So that's what I'm watching for on IQ today, is for IQ to start breaking down. So I'm watching IQ short bias today. And if you draw a trend line, following all of its higher lows, that's kind of going to give you a good idea of maybe where to short as soon as it starts breaking down that trend line, which is probably around 37, 36.50. All right. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to watch IQ short biased off of this $38 price point right there. That's what I'm looking for, is to get short there and hope this thing just crashes and burns today. That would be cool. But also keep in mind, if this does break out over 38, we could have a really big push. Why would we have a big push on IQ if it goes over 38? Well, 38 is a key resistance level. So there's a lot of people that will try and get short at 38. There's a lot of people that are still short bias on the stock in general that may have stop losses right at 38 because it's a key level. So 38 is a very significant spot today on IQ. So that's kind of the primary area to start watching that stock around if it approaches that $38 price point. All right. Oh. All right. So there's the thesis on IQ to watch it short around 38. What's on next? We'll talk about Tesla next. So Tesla is kind of interesting. It's one that I tossed on the watch list just because of yesterday's movement. Yesterday, Tesla had a really big day, and excuse me, if you look at Tesla, the last time Tesla went through a really big push, it popped up to a high of about $30, or sorry, $330. So it has resistance right at about $329. So I think Tesla wants to actually go long today. I think it wants to push higher. Now, it might fail, but this is ideally what I'm watching for. I'm looking to see if Tesla is going to push higher today up towards 330, and then looking for it to break out and go long over 330. That's a possibility. Tesla always has news. There's always dramatic news. So regardless of what news broke this morning and what Elon Musk is saying or what he tweeted or didn't tweet, just purely based on technical analysis, I think if Tesla does push higher, we might see it approach 330. And if by any means we get a lucky push, we might break 330 and start squeezing really hard. Because there are a lot of people that started shorting Tesla here at 330s, and then even here, and then some here. They started getting squeezed out yesterday, and if they get through 330, we're going to squeeze out more short sellers, and we might get another big push to the upside on Tesla. On the short bias side of Tesla, if Tesla cannot break through yesterday's previous high of 324, we might in fact just see Tesla kind of roll over and crash. All right, so I would only be looking to get long bias if it can for sure break over yesterday's previous high of about 325. He did apologize. That is true. Now, next one on the list I'll talk about is RIOT. How's this doing? All right, so RIOT was on the watch list, or when I put it on the watch list, it was primarily because it was holding up pre-market. Right, so Riot went through a big push yesterday. If you're not familiar, Bitcoin, BTC, Bitcoin went to like, I don't know, like 7,000 yesterday, or maybe a little over 7,000 or something like that. So yesterday, Bitcoin had a really big push to the upside, which caused Riot blockchain Riot, RIOT, to go through a big pump. Pre-market, it started, trickling up, which caused me to think we might get another push on Riot. But now, instead of it going up, it's starting to roll over. All right. So now that it's starting to roll over, I would watch Riot short below the 620 mark. All right. If you look at Riot closely here, pre-market, this 620 level was the support. And once it broke through, that's now the resistance. So watch Riot, because a lot of people are probably going to try and play this short below 620. And so that's the way I would play it. I would look to short Riot below $6.20 today. All right. Next one on the list is CSX. So CSX is an earnings play. This is kind of the reason I'm mentioning it. I'm not super crazy about it, but I thought I would kind of throw it up there and mention. CSX is an earnings play. So if you want to watch it, definitely keep an eye on it. ASML is another stock that had earnings. It gapped up like 8 points from like 205 to 211. So this is another stock that's up quite a bit. So if you want to watch this is an earnings play. It's a gap up. It looks pretty good for a long. So again, keep ASML on watch. There's a few other earnings plays out there today that I'm not even quite sure of because I didn't write them down. Another thing that I'll mention this morning is CLRB. CLRB. So not that I really, really like CLRB. It's more or less playing a theory that short sellers might get squeezed out today, and we'll see CLRB do this. All right. So you guys all know yesterday, CLRB like gapped like crazy all the way to $14.50 on the positive news with the cancer treatment or trials. And then it just started crashing from $14.50. It ended up fading out all the way down to just below or just about $7 yesterday. So what's taking place is a lot of people are actually shorting. All right, we have a lot of people that were shorting this stock down. And if this does not go lower and it starts to curl up, we should see a squeeze. And this portion right here, all right, like this portion would be the short squeeze. All right. There's all these people shorting it down. If it doesn't continue lower and starts to curl up, those are going to be the short sellers getting squeezed out, and that can cause a massive push. Now, there's no guarantee it's actually going to happen. It's an idea that might happen if, in fact, this price action starts moving back up and other people recognize it and start buying it up as well. There's a strong possibility that the short sellers could get squeezed out on their positions, causing a big pop in the morning. Yeah, it had a reverse split as well. You're right. Thoughts on so those are kind of all the stocks that I'm going to mention here today that I'm really paying attention to. Other than that, and it did gap up quite a bit. Reverse split gap to 7, then all the way to 7. So it gapped quite a bit yesterday, and a lot of people shorted this down. All right. So my thoughts on CBIO. So CBIO was a penny stock this morning, well, not necessarily a penny stock, but it squeezed up and then it completely crashed and rolled over. So let's see. Hold on, let me look at something here. It's hard to say. With this massive push down, I would think that CBIO is actually going to squeeze up out of the gates. So that's actually what I would watch. Since the price action is really extended to the downside already, I'd actually watch CBIO long today out of the gates for a squeeze back up, maybe into kind of this $12 or $13 price point area. Okay. So do watch CBIO today, possibly long off the squeeze on the bottom. All right. And then the last one I'll touch on is JNUG. Let's see, where's JNUG at? So JNUG's at 1269. So JNUG is breaking down, or had started breaking down, all of the previous support. So what I would watch for here on JNUG is to look for a little bit of maybe a higher low setup to take place. Since it's broken down all this previous support levels of 13, the next kind of level of support that we have is going to be right at 1258. So that would be kind of the new entry for me, as close as I could get it down to 1258. But that's just it. It's still near these areas of support where we could start seeing it reverse. So just keep JNUG on watch and look for a higher low setup. It has a beautiful downtrend from the high at 15. And again, that's kind of what I'm watching for, is for it to start bouncing around the 1258s now to break back up over 13. All right. Okay, guys, that is yeah. So that is all I have for you guys today. Again, right? I mean, there's just a lot to watch. I would love to do as a super in-depth analysis on every single stock, but there's just not enough time in the day before I have to get back online with our private group. All right. So those are all the stocks I'm watching today. My primary plays are probably going to be IQ, Netflix. Actually kind of interested in watching CBIO. So pretty interested in joining CBIO or trading CBIO. So these are my tops: Netflix, CBIO, IQ, and those are my tops. Those are the ones. And then all the other ones are going to be on the back burners. All right, guys. And then before I head out, for like the next couple minutes, I'll answer some questions. For the next couple minutes, I would like to ask, because I still get a lot of direct messages and a lot of questions all the time on what our private group entails, what goes on the inside and everything like that. So if any of you guys are interested or have any questions about Boiler Room Trading's private group and what it is we do on the inside, now would be the time to ask. So that way I can kind of get away or get through a lot of the questions. So rather than going through a bunch of messages, directly, here would be kind of a good time if you guys would like to ask any questions. So I'll kind of hang on for the next couple minutes if you guys have any questions, and then I'm going to have to skedaddle. So does anybody have any questions at all, just in trading in general, or anything about our course material, private group, our live trading room, anything like that? Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. SMQAI. So the private group in our course is $30 a month, unless we're running a sale, which we do every once in a while, but it's $30 a month. And that's going to get you a whole course. So the $30 a month gets you a whole trading course, which we cover short selling, level 2, buying long, trade setups, psychology. We also have like a mentoring class 2 times a week. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11:30, we actually have a live class with myself and another trader where we go on live and we have different topics of discussion. So it could be short selling one day it might be options trading, the other day it might be risk management, the other day it might be reversal trading. Some days we do trade recaps where we kind of walk through trades we took for the day, the goods, the bads. Good job, Pink Penny. That's awesome that you got your commissions down. I'm about to call them and hopefully get mine lowered even more. So we start, so it's $30, right? And we start at 7:30 a.m. So we are on live starting at 7:30 a.m. So my day goes like this. To give you guys an overview on how the day goes is I get up, I come into the office, we get on live at 7:30. We start looking at stocks pre-market, analyzing them, asking questions, overviewing stocks for everybody. And then from 7:30 and then at 8:30, I get on live on YouTube here. And then from 9 till 9:30, we're back on looking at stocks pre-market, finalizing the stocks we want to trade, getting a game plan going. And then from 9:30 market open until 11 a.m., we are live trading in real time, talking about the setups. And then at 11 o'clock, we get offline. Chat room is still open if you guys want to trade, but the live trading room and commentary will stop at 11. But we do leave up the stock scanner, so you guys still get to use the high day momentum scanners, reversal scanners, and things like that. So can you run your whole private room process? Yeah, so I think I kind of did that. Do you have English subtitles in the course for? I think let me double check for you, Tyler. But I think there's an option in which you can go. You can actually change the. You might be able to. I'll have to double check, and maybe I'll let you guys know on the next stream if we can change over change it from English. Matrix is the great. Clown with Twitter account, I don't know. I've been hearing stuff about that this morning. We do trade live every day, actually. We trade live in the trading room every day. I actually don't subscribe to any news feed. The only thing I really am subscribed to is Trade Ideas, to use the scanning software. Zen 3x3. So in the live trading room, like every day at 7:30 when we get on live, you guys, once I start the meeting, then you guys can join, and you guys will have access to pre-market scanners that tell you volume, float, amount of shares traded for the day. And then when the market opens, that's when I present a momentum scanner. So a high day momentum scanner that scans for the penny stocks. Then we have a few different scanners that alert us of reversals. So when like a stock gets really, really pushed up and it's ready to come down, or when a stock gets oversold and it's ready to bounce. So we have a couple scanners for that. It's kind of ridiculous. You're right. Like like Trader Doc said, it's kind of a crazy amount of value for the price. And that's the way I always wanted it to be, is I wanted to make trading and education available for primarily everyone. That was my game plan there. So all right, so that should cover it. And again, if you guys have questions, you can always reach me through Discord. So the everything in the description below, right? The first link there is how you follow to our website and sign up for the private group. And then there's a few other links down there. One can get you into our chat room. All right. And we have a free chat room you can use and just hang out for free. And then you can also direct message me through the chat room. That way you can get like a one-on-one reach out to me. And then, of course, you can always reach me through Facebook and things like that. So if you guys do have questions in the future, things like that, reach me through Discord, our chat room. Everything's free. You can join our free Facebook group too. So other than that, if you guys have any more questions, just feel free to reach out to me through our chat room, and it's in the description of the video. All right, guys. So other than that, I will see you guys all tomorrow, and hopefully for some new videos coming here soon. All right, so take care, and I'll see you guys shortly tomorrow.